Hi, friends. Are you familiar with the phrase? Perhaps you've heard this before. Who knows if you've been called for such a time as this? Or more specifically, it reads from Scripture, "Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" I'm referring to an individual in the Bible who is beloved by many, and her story is the favorite of many. And that was Queen Esther. She had humble beginnings, but won the king of Persia's heart in biblical times. It was during a time where many of the children of Israel had gone back to rebuild the temple and rebuild the wall with Ezra and Nehemiah. Yet many had stayed in Persia, one of which being Esther. Many of us are familiar with the story of Esther. We know of her being chosen to be the next queen. We know of her relative, Mordecai, who was honored for saving the king's life. We know of the villain of the story, Haman, and how he tried to destroy God's people. And we know that Esther was sheltered in place as a queen. Here was a queen, royalty, who was sheltered in place by God's grace, secretly one of his chosen people. Well, we know that Haman wanted to destroy God's people, and Mordecai sent word to Esther to speak up on behalf of her people to the king. Esther was concerned because, according to Persian law at that time, no one could approach the king, not even the queen, unless he extended the golden scepter, and he hadn't called to Esther for a long time. Well, Mordecai went back to her saying these very words, found in Esther chapter 4, verse 14. "For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place. But you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Well, friends, we know that Esther exposed Haman's plot. We know that Mordecai was honored into receiving the position that Haman had after his demisely departure. And we know that a new command was issued forth that the children of God could defend themselves against any plots or against any attacks. And there was a celebration called Purim to remind them of that occasion, a feast that was celebrated for a long time to come. Friends, who knows during this time, possibly God has called you to be a servant or to be a leader for Him for such a time as this. Maybe you've stepped up to pray for people. Maybe you have stepped up to help serve people or to keep in contact with people and give them encouragement. The encouragement that this isn't the end. God's still there. We can still cast all our cares on Him, for He cares for us, according to 1 Peter 5:7. Maybe you have stepped up to be like Queen Esther or King David for people of today. And friends, hey, there's nothing like bringing people to the Lord in prayer. That's the best way to enter before the King. And you don't even need a golden scepter to be extended to you to enter your pleas before King Jesus. In Hebrews chapter 4, it says that our high priest has been tempted in every which way that we have but did not sin. Therefore, we can boldly come to His throne of grace and make our petitions before Him. Friends, let's be interceding on behalf of the Lord's people. Let's intercede before the Lord in prayer for our brothers and sisters, that all may be well in God's kingdom. May God bless you, all of you kings and queens of His, and may we one day be able to sit on thrones and have crowns and live with Jesus for 1,000 years in heaven, as the Bible shares. Right now, may Jesus rule in your mind and in your heart and in your actions in serving others for Him. God bless you.